Prime Energy by KSI and Logan Paul has been flying off the shelves since its launch in January of 2022. And now Prime has just launched a new range of energy drinks. But by doing so, they may have just made the mistake of showing red to a bull. This bull. But why are they taking on this uphill battle? And can they win? The roots of this highly competitive energy drink market can be traced back to Japan in the 1960s. In 1962, a company called Tasho launched Lipovitan D, a legal energizing tonic which sold in small minibar sized bottles. By the 1980s, these vitamin fortified extra caffeinated beverages were gaining more and more traction across Asia, but had yet to enter the Western market. That was until 1984 when Dietrich Mateschitz discovered the supercharging tonics while on a business trip in Bangkok. He was advised to drink a can of Katting Dang to help energize him. In Thai, this means red gar, where a gar is a type of bison, native to South and Southeast Asia. After tasting the drink and discovering that it did in fact help him improve his symptoms of jet lag, he realized this drink needed to enter Western markets. He quit his job, partnered up with the founder of Katting Dang, Chalu, I'm not even going to pronounce his second name, who both invested $500,000 in a brand new company that would sell the drink in Europe. 3 years later, he launched a slightly altered, carbonated version of the product in his home country, Austria, under the name Red Bull. It was positioned as a trendy upscale drink, first launching in the Austrian ski resorts and later targeting college students as the early adopters of the product. Despite being banned in Germany, this only added to the drink's mystery and drew even more attention to it. As a result, many Germans flocked to Austria just to get their hands on their forbidden drink and your mother. Then in 1997, Mateschitz brought his beverage to the United States, and the market for these energy drinks exploded to become the giant $60 billion market it is today, of which Red Bull owns a 38% market share. With a massive market opportunity and a prime audience that heavily consumes energy drinks, see what we did there? It's no surprise that KSI and Logan Paul have set their sights on the industry with their own energy drink product. However, taking on the reigning king Red Bull will be much like trying to tame a wild bull. Red Bull's success can be attributed to its very clever business strategy, one that may surprise you. You see, Red Bull isn't even classified as a drinks company. They don't even produce their own energy drink. It's produced by Krating Dang and is distributed to stores and restaurants via Red Bull owned distribution companies. So what does Red Bull actually do? Marketing. And their strategy is genius. Red Bull pours billions of dollars each year on marketing to create and maintain their iconic branding. The company sponsors extreme sports events and athletes all around the world, including cliff diving, rallycross, snowboarding, skateboarding, and all other manners of extreme sports. We, the people, have been conditioned to expect to see something badass when we see the Red Bull logo on someone's helmet, vehicle, or piece of clothing. They also create their own viral marketing campaigns where they show people achieving the seemingly impossible. Take Felix Baumgartner, who in 2012 jumped from the edge of space in a Red Bull branded spacesuit, becoming the first man to break the sound barrier in freefall. The stunt cost Red Bull $50 million to pull off, but it captivated the world to such a degree that the stunt generated an estimated $6 billion worth of advertising for the company. On top of this, Red Bull owns and invests in its own sport teams. These investments have a dual benefit of marketing for Red Bull, while also creating new revenue streams for the business, all while the company builds equity value in these businesses. Take Red Bull's New York-based soccer team. Red Bull purchased a team for $25 million in 2006, and now it's estimated to be worth over $290 million. Fundamentally, Red Bull doesn't make anything except, well, money, and their innovative business strategy sets the foundation for why Prime Energy will find it almost impossible to compete with them. Believe it or not, Red Bull has successfully positioned itself as a premium product while tasting like fermented cat piss. Let's compare Red Bull to their biggest rival, Monster. Monster largely tries to compete with Red Bull on price by coming in at a lower price point than Red Bull. When you compare the products on a per fluid ounce basis, Red Bull costs customers 29 cents per fluid ounce, whereas Monster costs just 19 cents per fluid ounce. Despite this price discrepancy, Red Bull still sells far more units than Monster each year. Prime looks to be taking on a similar pricing strategy to Monster, with the drink costing 20 cents per fluid ounce. Given this strategy hasn't worked well for Monster, Prime may well experience the same fate. But before Prime Energy worries about pricing and profits, they need to get over a much bigger hurdle: getting their product manufactured on their store shelves. Since its launch, Prime has been struggling under the weight of demand for the product. Huge demand coupled with production and distribution constraints has led to Prime selling out everywhere, and as a result, a black market for the product has emerged, with scalpers buying and reselling Prime at outrageous prices, sometimes up to 20 times higher than retail prices. At this stage, you have a better chance getting Prime from your local drug dealer than you do your local corner shop. These supply chain challenges are not easy or quickly remedied, and it's likely that Prime Energy will face the same supply chain issues as Prime's core product is experiencing for some time. Contrast this with Red Bull. Over the decades, Red Bull has built up their production and distribution networks, largely through outsourcing. And they've done this to a degree that their product is available in nearly every shop, every bar, every restaurant on the planet. Developing production capabilities and distribution channels this vast is an incredibly complex endeavor to undertake, and Prime is no different, and it will take years for it to build up its global presence. All while Red Bull will keep expanding their reach, sales, and increasing the value of the brand, an area where Prime has been suffering in recent past. As a creator-led business, Prime suffers from what we call brand concentration risk. In our first video, Will Prime Make KSI and Logan Paul Billionaires, we presented our bull case for Prime Hydration and how the company could become a multi-billion-dollar business. But there's also a bear case for the brand, and the biggest risk facing Prime lies in its two founders. The brand is heavily tied to its superstar founders, and should they do anything untoward, like hypothetically rip off their fans by starting a cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme, Logan, this would meaningfully and irrevocably damage Prime's brand. Contrast this to Red Bull, whose brand is not tied to a particular creator or person. It's tied to an idea. The idea of pursuing adventure and pushing your limits. Red Bull fundamentally has diversified their brand, where they use a wide variety of influencers to tie their brand to a way of living, rather than a particular person. Even avid customers of Red Bull wouldn't be able to tie a name to the man who founded the company, but that could also be down to how hard it is to pronounce his fucking name. Prime shouldn't underestimate Red Bull's place in popular culture. Its slogan, "Red Bull gives you wings," is world renowned, despite the fact they got sued for the slogan, since, believe it or not, Red Bull doesn't actually give you wings. A fact for which the company had to settle a lawsuit for $13 million. Red Bull has even managed to continually expand the market for its product. For example, by positioning itself in clubs and bars as a great mixer with alcohol, making a mainstay in drinking cultures across the world. Between Jaeger bombs, vodka Red Bulls, tractor fuels, Irish trash cans, and Vegas bombs, the company has established itself as one of the primary mixers of choice for avid drinkers around the world. The Bull will continue its rampage, just like the Beast. He's also on a rampage. And we're not talking about his YouTube channel, Beast Burger, or Feastables. We're talking about his next business move that is going to be the biggest company he ever builds.